Hello, everyone. Have you ever been in that glittery trap we don't always admit we're in? Golden handcuffs. You know the game. The paycheck that's too good to leave, the benefits that feel impossible to walk away from, or that job title that keeps your LinkedIn looking shiny, even when your soul is slowly dying. Episode 7 of Climbing Ladders starts now. Welcome back to Climbing Ladders. Today, we're getting right to the topic, digging into something that so many women face at some point in their careers: the golden handcuffs. You know, that moment where you've got the big paycheck, the perks, the prestige, but you also feel trapped. Do you stay for security, or do you risk it all for passion, purpose, or balance? We've got not just one guest, but two amazing women leaders who've wrestled with this dilemma firsthand, right, CT?
That is correct, Kev, and I've witnessed it myself, me included. So I have two of my closest friends on this episode. What I love is that we work in very different industries. I don't think I could describe what they do, like if someone asked me quickly, but I know that we've all used the same corporate jargon and have the same love-hate relationship with the latter. So, I would love to introduce our listeners to two women that I am so proud to call my friends and my personal board of directors. First, I would like to introduce my longtime friend, Dr. Lindsey Walker. She leads campus project initiatives for a well known molecular diagnostics company. Lindsay has received several awards and accolades for her PMO development and implementations. So before I let Lindsay take on this mic and it turns into a podcast about her cat, I want to also introduce another gem in my life, EJ Nham. EJ is the global benefits director for a cloud data management company. She designs and oversees the company's worldwide employee benefits strategy. So today and together, we'll talk about money, identity, family pressures, and what freedom really means when the stakes are super high. So, Lindsay, EJ, I will let Lindsay start first, but I want you guys just to, quickly introduce yourself personally. You can talk about your cat for a minute if you want, or what you kind of do outside of your 9 to 5, maybe your 5 to 9. How about you, Linz?
Hello, everyone. Lovely to be on here. This is my first podcast, so excited. Kevin, I was hoping to see some NASA swag, but doesn't look like you're wearing any today.
At the dry cleaners.
I am married to my job, so I define myself by that a lot. But the other thing we've been doing a lot of recently is golf. So instead of golden handcuffs, we're talking about golf and handcuffs at this point.
Very good. And golf is very expensive, so they kind of require golden handcuffs in a way.
Yes.
So, next up, we have EJ.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here. Also, my first pod, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun with these two women and Kevin. And I'm a single mom with two kids and two dogs. So, a lot of my time outside of my career is spent with them. But I also love traveling and try to travel to multiple places every year. So, definitely when you think about golden handcuffs and being able to afford a luxury lifestyle is big on my
Yeah. I mean,
journey.
do your kids wanna go to space camp? Because it's really expensive. I just looked.
I could see Logan wanting to.
All camps are expensive. I mean, my kid did horse camp for many years, and s we live in the Bay Area, so it's all about the knots, right?
Oh, no, you have a horse
Yes.
girl.
Oh gosh. So, Lindsay mentioned that she's married to her work, but I want to also clarify that she's also married to a man.
He's also a job, so no, I kid. I love the
Uh,
part.
and then EJ did mention she is a single mom, a badass single mom at that, but she is single. So, also putting that out there too.
I like how this is turning into, like, a subtle, like, "Let's
A
introduce you
dating
to
show?
some nice women that are very successful and smart."
Well, I mean, okay, Heather single, EJ single. I mean, I have literally a crew of really cool women in my circle, so I gotta put them on a platform that they deserve if they're single and ready to mingle.
You're such a good friend.
Man, this is free for them. They don't have to pay, like, Talkify or eHarmony or something, you know?
Climbing ladders.
We're climbing something.
Oh, is this what we're doing? All right, let's go.
All right, let's do it though. Let's go. Let's get real. Are these golden handcuffs keeping us safe? Or are they keeping us stuck? And how does this play out differently for women? Time for the fun. It's ladies' night in the office break room. Hopefully, some drinks are poured and we're not holding back. We've got some great topic questions that I'll fire off to the group and let's just kick it off. First one here, let's paint the picture. You're climbing your own ladders, you're on your path, having success. When did you first realize you'd be wearing golden handcuffs in your own career? Let's start with Dr. Lindsay.
I know we're not supposed to mention companies, so I'll talk about my first paycheck I ever received as a cart runner for a company that rhymes with Shmam Shmub. And getting that first paycheck, honestly, was when I knew, oh, this is nice. I can make my own money. I do not come from generational wealth. And so I am the generational wealth that I'm trying to build. But my first, all jokes aside, my first job in biotech is really where I got that feeling of, "Oh, this is what it's like to have financial stability and start making money that I think I'm worth." And so since that first job, it's been no going back. I gotta move forward, keep making more money. That's where we're at.
Amazing. Schmam's Club. Never shop there. I'm at Smosco.
Only Schmoshko.
What about you, EJ?
So similar to Lindsay, funny enough, we have a lot of similarities. Maybe that's why we're best friends with Christine. But I also did not grow up with generational wealth and had always wanted to break out of that cycle and build generational wealth for my own children. But my first career job and living on my own in my own apartment is and feeling financially stable, buying my first car, starting to travel, all of those things made me realize like this is what it feels like to make money. This is what it feels like to be comfortable. And really the trajectory went from there and focused on my career.
CT, do you have a similar experience to the other two?
Oh, yeah, totally. So, I was also a cart runner back in the day. That parallels with, Lindsay's talk about what she was doing, but I think when my basic needs were met and I did not have to check my checking account to make the basic purchases like groceries or things for the home, and I could pay rent without thinking about how that would impact other bills. That's when I knew that I couldn't make anything less than what I was making at that time. Obviously, we have a lot of other issues going on in the world where we have inflation, we have costs rising in different aspects of our life. And then we are also adding things into our life. And that's where the golden handcuffs get tighter, right? So, in the beginning of this podcast, we talked about hobbies such as golf. It is, well, not for you, Kevin, but for most of us, it's optional.
Yeah.
Like for you, it's non
It's
negotiable.
yeah.
So,
Ask me
you
what I'm
will,
doing later today.
Are you a
yeah.
NASA golfer?
Don't tempt them with a good time. So yeah, totally, golden handcuffs, it means different things. Like, I guess I should say, not that it means different things, but the purpose of it has different meaning for different people, but they do get tighter as our expectations of our living standards increase, or they are non-negotiable.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like as you guys got into your careers, you all are coming from very humble, very motivated backgrounds. And I think there's a lot of people that will feel more pressure on golden handcuffs if you do come from that background. And I certainly have friends on both sides of the spectrum, and I would tell you my friends that were well off probably never really felt this pressure. They always felt fine with money, and money being the biggest thing that's tightening up as we get older and older. So let's talk about that. Let's shift to the gender factor. Being a guy who might collect Star Wars Legos still, my experience has definitely had less societal obstacles when going after my career. I know women have it harder. For example, balancing starting a family, childcare, societal pressures, or being told, be grateful in this new role. What's your experience? Start with CJ.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take it back a little bit for me, because I think I've had a huge evolution in this space. So I grew up and was raised by a single mom. We immigrated here when I was only 6 years old, and I have an older brother. And so I've always known that women can have a career and raise kids, even though I recognize the struggle that my own mother went through, right? And I was really fortunate that, after college and actually starting career roles, that I've always had really powerful female mentors. My first role, my chief marketing officer was female. My next role, the VP, was female. And so I've been surrounded by powerful, powerful female women, but at the same time, there's this, like, outside society pressure. I think because of my humble background, and the I don't wanna call it broken, but a different kind of family dynamic, I wanted the white picket fence, I wanted the Stepford wife look, I wanted the perfect little nuclear family, and that's what I went and did. Um, I talk a lot of shit about men, but I'll give it to my ex-husband that he was a provider at the time that we first got married, right? And we lived a very comfortable life, and I was able to grow my career while also starting a family. But I will also say that was a huge strain because I wanted this nuclear family, and I had this great husband who also wanted a housewife in some way and wanted, like, the picture perfect mom. And then I wanted this career and I wanted this luxury lifestyle that I never had, and so I wanted to grow in that, and it was a crazy balance that I always felt like I was failing at. And it didn't help that the powerful women admitted that you can't do it all. One of them literally said, "You can't do it all. You have to choose. Are you gonna be a mom in the PTA and volunteering and being super involved, or are you gonna be the career woman who ships your kids off to daycare?" And so I had this constant battle. My original golden handcuffs was this constant battle of, am I really gonna keep climbing this career ladder and go towards director, senior director type roles, or am I gonna focus on being a mom? Am I gonna focus on what society tells me I should be doing as being a mom? And for the longest time, I really tried to do both. And then I did realize that you need a village and you need help to be able to do both. And you have to let yourself fail and let yourself go through these work life rhythms because it felt impossible. And of course, I don't want to say that this was the only reason. There's many factors that led to my divorce, but post-divorce, now it's like this new level of golden handcuffs because lifestyle creep is so real that I went from dual income to single income, and
Sure.
now it's I kept living the same life. In fact, Christine can attest to this, I probably live an even more baller life as a single mom, and,
Yeah.
now it's a totally different level of golden handcuffs. I just took my kids to Paris, and we ate lobster at the beach in Nice.
Good for
Like,
you.
I never had that lifestyle, like, my family vacation was Reno. So, like, living this life and being so fortunate to have the career that I have, but I still have these, like, dreams of what if I did something different? What if I did something on my own? What if I owned my own business? What if I came out of the regular corporate life? And so now it's just a different perspective of, I live this very nuclear family and I had a different level of golden handcuffs. And now I'm looking at it from a very opposite side of the coin. And it's still a hard thing to consider, definitely.
Powerful story. I'm super impressed that you saw a powerful woman helping raise you and being mentored by. You had other women behind you, and you still seem so motivated about how do I continue to give back to my kids and show them that they can have this type of lifestyle too. Give them a little taste, and then hopefully that continues to motivate. What about you, Linz?
I have a bit of a different background in that. As an only child, my mother was the breadwinner simply because my father had disability, couldn't work after a certain age. And so that was the first kind of strong woman that I saw, kind of driving the family dynamic. Um, and then I always joke I was kind of raised as like a boy. So I didn't have that societal pressure of like you need to have a family, you need to get married. And realistically, I knew I didn't necessarily want that. Honestly, getting married at 40, never expected to even get married. So uh you have to find the right person to be able to decide to do that. And I did. So having that different kind of pressure, it was more so about I need to get out of here. I need to be on my own and independent. Christine and I come from an interesting neighborhood, not necessarily the safest or the nicest. And so we joke about how we got out. And now we're back, but not necessarily back. We're back in the same city. So that's what drove me. It wasn't necessarily a gender factor of trying to have it all. It was just trying to have something of my own. And it still is. And now, I do have a family. It's not necessarily the standard nuclear family. And so that is a bigger factor for the golden handcuffs as well, because I am also the breadwinner. And it's a nice thing in that, a lot of our life revolves around my career and my decision, which I appreciate because it allows me to keep growing the way I want to.
I love that your neighborhood could be described as the same plot to the movie Boys in the Hood. So glad you guys hung
It
out.
is. Kevin, how did you know? Like, seriously, there was so much graffiti, syringes, cigarette butts. It was like, I'm not being sarcastic. It was pretty wild. It
Still
was
is.
really,
And
yeah,
my parents still live there. Go figure. So yeah, we got out.
CT, you're basically Ice Cube in this one, aren't you?
duh. I do want to add one thing on. I'll keep my part really short for this. I want to actually piggyback on what EJ was saying about being a mom and trying to figure out what does having it all mean. And I think my part was very forward planning. I had a lot of fertility issues, but I knew I wanted a family. So I took a lot of calculated risks for what I was doing to one, have the family, grow my career, and I knew my window for everything was very, very short. So I did my best to climb the ladder as fast as I could with the window of time that I allotted myself. So that way, when my family time came, I could then focus on my family. And now, as you guys have heard on other episodes, I've started my own company, I started my own consulting and whatnot. And you know, managing myself and managing a household, it is very different than having someone tell you, like, "Here's the work, do the work, see you tomorrow at 8, you can go home at 5." Like, I have to balance how to be a mom during the day for certain times and then work around the clock or whatever project demands are. But that's my new balance. What lays ahead in the years to come, I'm not sure, but I know that I've done my part in trying to acquire new skills and new experience so that way if I do go back to corporate, I have that available to me. Right now, I am focused on family. What I love about the women on this episode with me and also women that I have in other parts of my life, we're all the breadwinners in our marriages or relationships or our household. And in a way, I think that was by design because not that I handpicked them and said, "Oh, show me your paycheck stub," but because we're constantly pushing each other. As I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, I am not in the same industry as these 2 that are on right now, but we do talk about our work to each other. We do talk about our teams or our bosses or just what we want, or if we're having a really tough quarter or we're getting stuck at work, we remind each other what the why is. And not to say, oh, yeah, always get a bigger paycheck. Of course, yes, it'd be nice. But are you happy in your job to continue to be just in this role
Mhm.
so that way you can stabilize other parts of your life, Or is your life, like your personal life, good that you can now power through and get to your next, you know, ladder rung in your career. So, being a woman to do this and having to juggle is hard as fuck. It is not for the weak of hearts, and I don't know how, like, single moms of little ones or single moms in general do this, but they freaking do because there's no such thing as not doing. You can't just wake up and say, "I'm not doing this today."
Yeah.
We just don't have it in us. Like, you have to make it work no matter what, and I don't think men wake up with that same kind of fear or anxiety that we do as women.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just listened to you talk, all three of you. You can tell why you guys are such great friends and you are so close. That for a couple reasons. One, you'd all take care of each other if you need to, whether that's work, support, guidance, friendship, even a good night out. Let's go get drinks. There's things that you guys do to take care of each other. And EJ said it, it takes a village. And it's wonderful to see you guys rally around each other. Because honestly, I don't see all the guys in my life saying, "Okay, how do I help buddy with this and that?" Or I got to go watch his kids while he's working on this big presentation. That doesn't happen, and I can see why you guys are all very close and also very successful. Um,
We
Very
joke about
interesting.
our retirement plan together, right? Buying land and yes, the husbands may be there, maybe.
Maybe.
Eh, I'm guessing not.
No, no, they will. Somebody's gotta do the yard work, you know?
Or ovulation week, whatever it is.
And
Okay.
speaking of that anxiety,
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I love is that I get my annual crash out with these girls because you really can't stop, and sometimes you need to crash out, but you can't as a single mom, and so they give me that space to literally crash out with them, and it's amazing. I love
Yeah.
it.
Good friends. Good
Yeah,
friends are for there for that. I love the annual
amazing
crash
stuff.
out. We should have a big party next time that happens.
Well, I've crashed out with you, Kevin, so you know how it goes.
Yeah, and those are fun nights.
Yeah, and then we're, like, cleaning up floors and stuff.
Oh, goodness. Okay, shifting gears, let's talk about reputation pressure. I always felt a little pressure having an Asian mom to make sure I had this amazing job title that she could go brag about to the family back in Japan. Have any of you ever stayed in a role longer than you wanted to because it looked good to the outside world? CT, have you ever done this?
Um, I don't know if it was staying in the role, but when I was going off to college, I got a full ride scholarship for the Naval ROTC, and it was something that my mom was so, like, proud of. She was so proud of because, she actually ended up at the time had a really good friend who was a naval officer, so she just thought, like, this is what I should do and where I should go, and it was really hard too because my mom was a single mom and didn't understand how to provide proper educational pathways or opportunities for me. Like, I had to carve that out myself. I had to go and seek these advanced courses or figure out all my credit needs and how to fill out a scholarship form, and but once I got it, she, like, in a way, kinda took the accolades, like, "Oh, yeah, my daughter is going to this school, and she got this scholarship and everything," and she wa I don't know if anyone knows this specific scene. Kevin always talks about movies, so this is one of my top what's a random number? 13 movies. Joy Luck Club. Waverly, when she was a younger girl and she was a chess champion, and her mom was walking around Chinatown holding up a newspaper, kind of bragging like, "Oh, have you seen my daughter Waverly? She is chess champion," and all these things. And that's kind of how my mom paraded me a little bit when I got this scholarship and was going off to college. And once I got there, I was so unhappy. And I'm a young adult, if you will, on my own, across the country nonetheless, and she didn't even fly with me to my college. I had to pack 2 suitcases, and I was on my own after that. And so I stayed in this environment longer than I should have. As far as work goes, I was working for this retail company. It's a big one in the Bay Area, and we call it drinking the Kool-Aid because, they really pump you up with promotions and just, like, the culture, and it was a really good culture at the time. But once I left and I came out of it and I felt like it was a cult. Like, you come out of it and you start to sober up and you're like, "Oh my god, why was I there so long?" But I guess I did learn a lot of stuff, but I'm just like, "That was wild." So, I don't know. I think right now what I'm doing, like I said, I started on my own as a consultant. My mom now, I think, has enough confidence in me to be able to pay my bills and be able to provide a steady household for my family. It's a lot less about that reputation pressure for her and us, and I think we kind of shed that relationship part of the mother-daughter dynamic, and now she kinda sees me as a really good provider and a good mother, and she also knows from all my past roles that I will climb if I want to climb, and when I climb, I will climb really goddamn high. So, that's where we are.
Say it again.
I
Say
know,
it.
right?
Preach.
Mom pressure is a real thing, but
Yeah.
it's great that you took your experience and over time, you learned that I don't need that pressure. I'm just gonna do what's best for me to take care of what I care about, my family, etcetera. That's big.
Yeah.
What about you, Lindsay?
Oh, every day of my life has been extreme reputation pressure. Extreme overachiever here.
Mm.
Just felt it since I was young because I was the only child. All eyes were on me. Again, didn't come necessarily from generational wealth. And then my dad was the hard ass. My dad was definitely the one that put the pressure on me. Uh, and there was a lot of comments around. It's okay if you want to flip burgers, and it was almost done. Like you're gonna really flip burgers, and there's no shame in that, just to be we all started from the bottom, but I knew that I wanted to do more than that, so that pressure had been there since day one. Similar story to Christine, though, had to get out into college on my own, full scholarship, didn't have any sort of family drive, say none of my family went to college. First one to graduate from college. None of them even knew how to necessarily get into college and even graduate high school in a lot of ways. And so I had to continue to put that pressure on myself and it even last through today. Um, Christine is my Asian mom in a lot of ways. So is EJ. Being friends with these two is also, in a good way, a lot of pressure. These two are my golden
Fair.
handcuffs in that we all keep moving up. And so, we all want to travel to France and we all want to eat lobster and caviar. But jokes aside, it really has become this kind of self pressure. But ultimately, if have I stayed in a role too long? I would say any role I've stayed in too long because I was not born to labor. I should be laying on a beach every day of my life, somebody feeding me grapes. But alas, that is not the case. And therefore, if I'm going to have to work, I want to get as much value as I can out of my time. And so that's why it's, stay in a job, look for the next level. No going backwards. That's kind of where I'm at. No going backwards. You're going to have to pull these golden handcuffs out of my cold dead hands. Yes, absolutely.
We keep saying similar stories. Clearly, again, why we're friends, but also same vein where I'm the first one in my family, extended family, even not just immediate family, to go to 4-year university. And so I've always had more of like the self pressure and self motivation to get out and be successful and make money. But I'm gonna give you 3 times where I was in something for too long and I found my way out. One was I had it in my mind that I was gonna go to college, do pre-med and be a doctor. I was like my own Asian mom, basically. I was my own tiger mom. And there came a point where even during college, I was like, "What am I really doing? Why am I going through this program? Like, why am I here? What do I really wanna do?" And I went through this major quarter life crisis, where I took the MCATs, but I was like, "Why am I doing this?" I, like, volunteered at hospitals and absolutely hated it. I'm like, "Why why am I going through this motion?" And I think it was just to prove a point that, like, "Oh, I said I'm gonna do this, I should continue and follow through." And I finally made the decision for myself, like, "No, this isn't what I wanna do. I don't actually wanna be, like, front-facing healthcare." Like, I love medicine and I love, um, the idea of healthcare and what we can do to, like, bolster healthcare. That's why I'm in benefits today, but I realized I didn't wanna be frontline healthcare. And so pivoting and having to tell people, "Oh, I've decided not to go to med school," was actually really hard. Like, I felt like
Mhm.
such a failure because I went and got a crazy degree in neurobiology, physiology, and behavior. What am I gonna do with this degree now that I'm not going to med school? But I found a new path, in corporate life, and my first corporate job, I had been there for almost 5 years. It started getting really toxic. I was really unhappy, and again, I had this idea of, "Why am I here?" And at the time, again, kudos to my ex-husband at the time, he let me quit without another job lined up. Um, and so I was able to quit and find a new career and a new path, and that's how I got into benefits. And one of my other really close best friends, got me into that role. The 3rd role, I will say that I was in too long, was a housewife. And admitting to the world that I did not wanna be a housewife and I did not want to be married and I needed to get a divorce was probably the hardest decision of my life. And being able to speak that truth and start telling people that we're getting a divorce and this is how life is gonna be, and yes, I'm still gonna have this badass career, and no, there's no custody, there's no, like, crazy arrangements or financial things, I'm completely financially independent, and that was a really crazy, difficult period, but something I feel much more resilient for, and I'm thankful to have my village supporting me for sure. But that was a hard one to tell my mom. Even though I was raised by a single mom, I knew that they would take it hard because from the outside, it was like, "Oh, but your kids are still young and like sure there's these things happening, but he's a good man. Like why wouldn't you suck it up and just stay together?" No, I'm my own badass bitch and I don't need to stay with a man to have a perfect family.
No, not at all. I can
Yeah.
attest to leaving the white picket fence and jumping into the unknown and actually having an amazing lily pad now. But to EJ's story that she shared, actually the 3 of us plus 1 more, actually my cousin, it was 4 of us and we would do these girls trips, and we would use these times to, yeah, have like mini crash outs. We weren't as open back then as we are now. Now we're super open, transparent, vulnerable, all the good stuff. But I started to see the cracks inside of EJ's gilded egg years before she got her divorce, and we just let her say what she needed to say. We didn't probe her for anything, but she was also at a inflection point because she was growing in her career. She had, 2 young kids at the time, and she also had a marriage that was kind of on the downside of things. But when she made that decision, can I say, like, she has turned into the most beautiful, inside out woman. She always was, but now she's like living her truest life and she's like killing it at work. Because when you have such a vampire suck in your life, you don't get to really like live to your fullest. And so this also goes to Lindsay too, when she found a partner, and that's not me. Like, she's always been able to be open with me. So, but her actual, like, legal partner, same thing. When you're able to really be your most authentic self, you just really excel in things. Used to have excelled in their careers, and I've seen them. Like, trust me, I've seen them where they're like, I can't go out. I only have negative $5 in my checking account, and I can't I have to wait till Friday when my check hits, and I have to pay the, I don't know, whatever overdraft fee or whatever it is. Like, we were in rough states back in the day. So now to see that we can do things without looking at our checking account. It's not just financially, but, like, be able to afford the basics of life and be okay. Like, I'm just so proud of them, very, very proud of them.
We always know that it can always go away. It can
Mhm.
always be taken
Yeah.
away,
Mm.
and we know how to climb right back up out of it. That's what I think keeps us motivated, and we just know that no matter what happens, we will figure it out, and we always
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, and I do wanna add to that too, where we have been super scrappy. Like, I've seen us in our college days where we had to stretch, like, a bag of spinach, 4 packs of ramen, a couple eggs for the week. I've seen EJ do it, I've done it. I mean, Lindsey worked at TGI Fridays for, like, a week. Like, there were some tough moments in there, So, I know that if something were to happen to us in our careers, that we could pull ourselves back up by our bootstraps. Whether I you know, to what Lindsay was saying, there is nothing wrong with flipping burgers. Like, if that's what we're doing, then be the best burger flipper ever, seriously. Like, put your back into it.
One thing I'll wrap this up on is when you guys were talking about pressure to do well, you guys have carved your own paths to be very successful. And you've done it from a place of true, genuine motivation of putting yourself in a better spot than your parents. And what I also see with this is there's so many things in their experience and perspectives as your parents to give you guys their thoughts on this is how you need to live your life. While there's that pressure on it, you guys were able to take that and say, I understand that's your experience. It's not going to be mine, and it won't be my kids' experience. And you guys have really broken that cycle of, okay, let's grow up, go to school, be successful, get a good job, provide for your family, and try to be happy. You're saying there's a different path to that. And I love that you guys have all chosen that. Wonderful work. We are going to take a quick sponsor break. When you have big career decisions and you're sitting in Reno flipping burgers at the TGI Fridays, sometimes you have to use something else to decide what you're going to do with your life. And one of those things to help clear our minds is pour ourselves some Glassman wines, our sponsor for this week's episode. Nothing is better than sitting on the porch, staring out at the world, and enjoying a glass of their award winning Pinot Noir while contemplating your next important career decision. Normally $35, we have a climbing ladder special for only $24.95 a bottle. If you email my friend at Brian at briandavidwines.com, we'll have the info in our description. Whatever difficult choices you need to make in your career, enjoying Glassman wines is never a tough decision. And please don't forget to drink responsibly. All right, we've had a really good discussion so far on this. Now we're going to turn it to the quick fire round. There's a great quote from Michelle Rodriguez's character, Letty Ortiz, who says, I may not remember anything, but I know one thing about myself. Nobody makes me do anything I don't want to. To honor her and her badass attitude, time for a quick fire round with questions come, dare I say, fast and furious. Like Letty Ortiz behind the wheel of her tricked out sports car, saving the world again. Here we go. If your job was a relationship status on Facebook, would it be married? It's complicated, or I'm just here for the Netflix password. EJ?
She's married.
Locked in and married, very much.
See, I could have answered that for her.
Locked and married. Linz.
None of those. We're just hooking up at the moment. No, I kid. No, definitely married. I joke about not wanting to labor, but I do love the work I do in my job. So,
Sounds like you've been in a long-term marriage where you're just, I'm going to tell him I'm going to go cheat on him just so that he stays really loyal to you. CT?
It's complicated. I'm in an open relationship situation.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next one. Golden handcuffs or golden retriever? Lindsay.
handcuffs. That way I can afford the golden retrievers when I'm retired.
Dig it. EJ?
I'm gonna have to say golden retriever because my golden doodle gives me too much love.
And CT?
Golden retriever husband, hands down.
Legitimately has a golden retriever
I
husband. Shout
have
out MT.
Yeah, I'm the black cat in the marriage, so I do have a golden retriever husband.
I like that we're all supporters of our furry friends. I thought because you guys are all badass women, you were gonna say something like that Warren G song, and I am gonna rap it. It's that I want it all: money, fast cars, diamond rings, gold chains, and champagne, and every damn thing. I thought that's where you guys were headed with that one, so you could
I
have
mean,
the
I
dog
think
and the
I
job.
think you're heading there. You're waiting for us to finish so you could do that.
Speaking of the next question, what's the pettiest perk you've stayed at a job for? CT,
Uh, my PTO.
vacay,
Mhm.
time off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Paid time off.
pay time. Yeah, let's be specific.
Yeah.
EJ?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Maybe a gas card?
To cover my Ozempic.
She wins for sure.
Drugs, gas, and time off. Got it.
Yes.
All pushing bricks over here.
Alright, what's shinier, your paycheck or your under eye concealer after a night out in Palm Springs together?
No comment.
Yeah, we're not
There's
answering
no
that one.
under eye concealer left after a night in Palm Springs with these 2. I'll
That
just
is
put it
tr
that way.
that is true.
What happens in Palm Springs, guys? I don't
Yeah.
understand.
And there's
I've
no
never been with them, so I don't know.
there's
Never
no
happened.
paycheck either after that trip. We're, like,
No.
broke after.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
There's no talking about Palm Springs.
Yeah.
When are you guys going back again?
No, never.
Never. We actually vowed to never go back to Palm Springs together
Yeah. It broke us. Literally,
in the best way.
financially and literally,
Emotionally.
emotional and mentally. Especially mentally, I'm mentally broken.
I love that we've been
Flashbacks are
talking
rough,
for
man.
about 40 minutes of how close you guys are and you're supportive, and then it's like one weekend breaks you guys. Alright, last 2 questions, and this is a surprise one for EJ and Lindsey. You may think this is a question about who you pick to survive on an island. However, curveball, if you had to pick a golf partner between Christine and I, and if you lose the match, you can only eat a bland vanilla paste for 1 year, who would you pick?
Kevin, sorry. Christine and I
Wow.
take absolutely nothing seriously, and that includes golf rounds. We would never win, ever.
Oh, that's it. Thank you so much for thinking of me. What about you, EJ?
I've never seen you golf, but I'm still picking you, Kevin, 'cause same. I mean, I
And don't
know
get me wrong,
Christine's
Christine is good.
dedicated to the sport, yeah, and she's trying to improve and she's getting good, but I've also seen all the F bombs when she's trying to perfect her swing and she's not there yet, so I pick you, Kevin.
Yeah, so 2 to nothing on that one, CT,
Yeah,
and
not
I'm glad you're
biased at
playing a
all.
game of whack fuck apparently on the golf course. Alright, last question, this one's serious. Just wanna get Lynn's and EJ's final advice. You guys were both little girls once, and what would you tell your younger self or another woman listening about recognizing and navigating golden handcuffs?
Invest. Invest early, 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 early. You invest early, you can let those golden handcuffs go when you much earlier than I can. I will say that. So that would be my first. And the second is don't ever rely on a man or partner. You need to be able to support yourself, however that may be.
Dig it. EJ?
Be true to yourself and what you want. Don't let society pressure you into doing something that you don't wanna do, and work through it with grit, but also be smart about your money and where you're putting it.
Sound advice from 2 wonderful women. CT?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I have 2 little girls, and if I were to tell them and my younger self something, it would be that they can recourse at any time. Like, don't stay on the path if it doesn't make you happy. But also, and I've said this in previous episodes, do not get fooled by a bad day. And do not get fooled by a good day either. Just truly think about it and think about why you're unhappy or what got you into that role, and let's map it out together. But that's a really great question, Kevin. Good job.
Hey, thanks. I'm
Yeah.
also, the golf choice for this, episode.
You know what? I'm gonna get you though. I'm gonna get you at the end of this. But seriously, thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, EJ. This was a riot. A lot of great moments that you guys have shared with us, our listeners, sharing a little bit about yourselves and your career choices. And of course, the pros and cons of golden handcuffs, right? So thank you again to both of you.
Yeah. I mean, just
Thank you.
what a riot
Thank
listening to you
you.
guys chat. I appreciated the stories, the heartfelt transparency, the advice, and candidly, I'm motivated right now to skip my golf route and get to some work. Golden handcuffs can feel heavy, but today we've heard stories and amazing advice of women who found ways to lighten that pressure. So maybe golden handcuffs aren't all that bad. They pay for Target, they pay for Pilates, and let's be honest, it can pay for burgers at TGI Fridays. And we can go to France too and do that too. Listen, so whether you choose to break free, renegotiate your terms, or just bedazzle the cuffs until they feel like accessories, you get to decide what freedom looks like. Thanks for joining us. And remember, the only chains you should be rocking are the bling fancy ones from your jewelry box. Keep on climbing those ladders. Thanks all.
Bye.
Bye.